Why the hell in 2024 are we playing Fallout 76? I think that's the biggest question about what is going on in this journey. And a very quick answer is they announced a raid. We're Destiny players, we love raids, we love dungeons. We're Final Fantasy players, we love raids, we love ultimates. We're MMO players, our bread and butter is raid-like boss fights. We are kind of obsessed with it. So when Fallout 76 announced that they were bringing a raid-type experience with challenge to the game, we were like, we are massive Fallout fans. Let's jump into it. So we did. We need 4 people for the raid. There was 4 of us. So in the first week of playing Fallout, we have some extremely high notes with some extremely low notes. We have starting the game up and just having issue after issue after issue. This game came out in 2018 and it still just has so many issues. Kane had an issue where he loaded the game up and it recognized his keyboard as a controller. The only fix that he could find for it was literally changing a config file, which permanently turned the controller off, because when he unplugged his keyboard from the computer, it would then go back to mouse and keyboard, and when he plugged his keyboard into the computer, it would then go back to a controller. He physically doesn't have a controller, so having a controller plugged in is literally impossible. It was a issue that literally stopped him from logging in. There was no way of him playing the game without making that config change. When he did a bit of research on it, the bug has been around for years and has not been fixed. Viper spent the first 30 hours of the game, 30 hours walking into buildings and frantically wiggling his mouse so it dropped his frames per second below 300 so that he could move, because when his frames went above 300 the game engine would stop him moving. Now, one of the things I've seen about this game is they fixed the issue where you can play above 60, and for every one of my experiences, yes, they have, but if you go over a certain limit, the game engine just has a hissy fit and stops. Quick fix though, limited his FPS, not a problem after that. I personally had to change a config file to get the game running above 45 FPS. It was a absolute performance nightmare on my machine. I had to go in, do some research, change the config file, mess around with some stuff and get it working, and out it runs fine-ish. This game has been so easy to unintentionally break. It's kind of crazy. So we logged in and we made our characters, and straight away we all have different rigs. I think we're all running NVIDIA GPUs, but then some of us are using AMD CPUs and Intel CPUs. We're running everything from like 9th gen i7s to newer AMD CPUs. So we have like a reasonably good range. The game's performance is noticeably bad on older CPUs. I have the newest graphics card. I have a 40 series graphics card out of the group, but I have the oldest CPU because my GPU broke, so I had to do a quick fix. Even though the game isn't maxing out my CPU, it still doesn't utilize what it is using properly, to the point where at some points I'll be at 45 FPS and other points I'll be at 120 FPS. But reasonably, it stays around 70 to 90. It is quite a large gap. The performance is not good for me, but it's not out of the realms of unplayable. It's above 60 most of the time. I'd say like 80% of the time. The one thing that really gets me, though, is the amount of hitching. I have had massive amounts of hitching in this game. It's been bad. I'm on the i7 9700K, I think, and he is on the i9 variant of the same generation, and he doesn't have so many issues compared to me. I believe he's had a reasonably smooth thing. I feel like my CPU, which I already know is getting long in the tooth, is just a little bit too long in the tooth for Fallout 76. It hasn't had an issue with Cyberpunk. It hasn't had an issue with Destiny 2. It hasn't had issues with Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Yeah, it definitely performs less than my friend's CPUs, and it is noticeable in FPS, but it's never given me hitching like in Fallout 76. Performance has not been good. But that was the initial sort of performance of the game itself. So we jumped into the game, we created our characters. None of us had Fallout first. We started into character creation. And my personal experience was it was not good. Character creation is basically exactly like Fallout 4. It does give you a good level of customizability. I made Abraham Lincoln. It was actually pretty good in my opinion, but the game disconnected just as I finished, and that led to me having to restart my character creation from scratch. So now I'm just made a basic character. I'm running around with him. It was the first time, but it wasn't the last time for me to be disconnected either. The server stability, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person to have had this issue, but I've disconnected from server, not had the game crash. And other people have had crashes, though the game has never crashed on me, just hitched a lot. But we're in the game, we've got our characters created, and you open the world of Fallout 76, West Virginia. And I have to say, as a Fallout fan, if you like Fallout 4, you are probably going to very much enjoy Fallout 76. Like, straight off the bat. It's got storylines. It's got the same gunplay as Fallout 4. It has a VAT system that's customized because it is an online game. It has gear. It has perks. It has stats. It has cooking. It has all the stuff Fallout 4 had. So if you liked Fallout 4, you are probably going to enjoy Fallout 76, as long as the bugs don't kill it for you. It just felt like Fallout, but it's online, and it has stuff to do with your friends. And I instantly got into the groove of playing it like I played Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4 is not the best Fallout game, and so therefore this will not be the best Fallout game either. But it is a good game. But this game did grab something in me that reminded me of Fallout, and really I've just been playing a lot of it because I've been enjoying the stories that the game is telling me. The way I feel about the structure of the game straight off the get-go is it starts you on what feels like a main story quest, but that main story quest is not backed up by any of the grandiose story of Fallout 4. It never leads you to any of the big moments that I have had so far. What it has done is led me to areas in the game, and it doesn't feel like they're saying go here, go here, go here. It feels a little bit more like you're following a person. As you follow this person, you pick up story beats and end up getting distracted by different things as you follow this trail. You follow these breadcrumbs, and they lead to other branching paths of breadcrumbs. Not necessarily in branching narratives, but just different narratives. I really get this sense that I am not the main character in this game. I am just another person in this game. And it being an online game, that kind of fits. Final Fantasy XIV does it very well, where you are the player. You are the top dog. And Fallout 76, I get the feeling that I'm just another vault dweller. Yeah, I'm pretty useful, I'm accomplished, but I'm not, oh, look, there goes the Warrior of Light. It's just, oh, you're a vault dweller. Can you give me a hand with this? And what ends up happening is the game not having this centralized story like a Final Fantasy or a Fallout 4, because it doesn't have this solid tree trunk of a story, what ends up happening is the areas you go to have their own isolated stories. And that's always, for me, been the best bit about Fallout, is these isolated stories, these side quests, these journeys you go on. And this game is full of it, absolutely full of it. Everywhere I go, there is just journey after journey, always meeting new people and excited to see what's going on. And it's surrounded by activity. There's people in power armor, there's people's houses, it feels so much more alive as a world than a standard Fallout game. And I think about the narrative of Fallout 76 being something is going on in Appalachia in West Virginia, and people are coming to this area, and it feels like that. It feels like a hive of activity. And in Fallout 4, that wouldn't have worked. But in Fallout 76, the narrative of what's going on in the game fits in with how the game also feels. It reminds me a lot of WoW Classic, which I didn't play a lot of, but there wasn't a storyline. There was just stories. And I feel like that's Fallout 76. There isn't a tree trunk of a main story like a Final Fantasy, but there are lots of stories, people's stories, West Virginia's stories. And the more you explore and the more people you meet and the more you find out about West Virginia, you end up feeling attached to the world more than the characters. And I think that's like a really interesting idea. And I can't put my finger on any other game that I've played that does it, apart from like WoW Classic. Everything else I've played has this branching storyline. You follow the main quest and then you go off and you do your side quests. And they may be incredible, be it Witcher or Cyberpunk or Fallout. But in this game, the side quests are the meat on the bones, where the main story is just the collect 10 bear asses quest. And that's an interesting concept to me. I really am enjoying playing a Fallout game. And honestly, my friends have been off playing a lot of events and doing activities together. And I've just been playing Fallout. And it's been great. Yeah, it really has been a lot of fun. So what's next? So we've talked about Fallout. We've talked about what I've enjoyed about it. But what next? Well, the end of the goal is raids. So I need to prep for it. So there's housing in the game, and you can spec your house out to do specific things, be it mining or farming or cooking or lots of different stuff. So I want to check that out. I want to build myself a nice house. There are builds in the game. The build system feels very extensive. You can put a lot of time into it. It's very impactful on how your character plays out. So at the beginning, I thought VATs were a waste of time, and actually, as I've played more and more and more, and spec'd a little bit more into VATs and talked to my friends about it, it's really come to fruition that the VATs are a system. You don't have to use it, but if you spec into it, it can be very powerful. And my build is actually VATs focused, so I've sort of done a full 180 there on that. So I want to do more quests. I'm in the middle of quests right now that I feel very engaged to, so I want to finish those. I'm in a whole new area, so I want to sort of see what that's going with it. There are daily ops, which are like really simple Destiny strikes or Destiny events, basically. You go to another area, run a mission, you time track, do it within the time limit, done it. It's like 8 minutes. They're very short. They're quite simple. There's nothing a lot to them. But they're that sort of the start of an end game activity. I've also unlocked expeditions, which are the other endgame activity, which I don't know anything about. I know that I'm going to be taken via Vertibird to the pit, but I don't know what's going to happen there. So we'll see what that's like. I'm interested to see that. The daily ops stuff wasn't... I have only played a little bit so far, so we'll see where that goes. I'm just getting going with the endgame stuff. The event stuff, there are constantly in the world events constantly popping where all the players gather together and do an event. The events can be defend a thing from a horde of ghouls. It could be kill the big bad. It could be lots and lots of different stuff. There are some really boring ones. There are also some quite interesting ones. And there are some that are just whatever. Video game stuff. Collect the thing, dump it at the thing. While shooting people. There's a thing, if it breaks, you lose. Defend it. But there are also ones that are like, players have launched a nuclear weapon into a specific area of the map, and therefore a giant beastie has come out. Kill the beastie. And that's quite cool. You know why it's quite cool? Because it starts with a portion of the map being nuked. That's kind of sick. Sitting there and watching a place get nuked and everyone on the map get a warning about it, and then you'd be like, oh, the Scorch Queen event started. Better go see what that is. And there's a giant Scorch Queen that comes out of the ground. The Nuka-Cola place gets nuked. and then a giant mole man comes out of the ground. It's quite interesting. Yeah, I've really enjoyed some of the bigger ones. Yeah, so far I'm really enjoying Fallout. We'll see where it goes. I am interested to see how engaging the end game is. I'll continue progressing my base. We'll continue progressing my build. We'll continue delving into daily op. We will start looking into expeditions, and we will see where this adventure of Fallout 76 takes us. I stream on YouTube and Twitch, so if you want to see the streams, if you want to see the videos, hit that subscribe button. Or go visit my Twitch channel, that is in the description. And if you just want the weekly updates for how my journey in 76 is going, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. And then, yeah, I'll post these weekly videos to say what is going on, how do I feel about the game now. And at the end of it, I'm going to do a review type thing. But this is my sort of long form projects where I play a game for quite a while and keep you updated on how the journey is going. And honestly, that journey will end when the raid is done. So we have about a month or two, and we will see how it ends. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again very soon.